All right, so right here, I have my YZ125 cases, my transmission, and I got a new cylinder for it. The parts I like to look at when I'm rebuilding a bike is the parts that are being replaced, like the piston. I just like to give it a quick look, make sure there's no chipping, and make sure the piston ring is freely moving and there's nothing wrong with it. For example, this piston is off a CR125. It didn't have too many hours on it and it still ran with this piston. So this one isn't too bad. But we go to this one. This is the one out of my YZ125 I'm rebuilding. You can tell the bike got so hot, it melted the piston rings inside of the piston. And this is usually caused from either super lean mixture or you got detonation going on in your cylinder, and that just destroys your pistons. Another part I like to look at when I'm rebuilding bikes is look at your crankshaft. This one's important because if you just put a new piston in and you don't check your crank and you kick it over and your crank's worn out, your bike could blow up. So the way you check these is this will usually be in your bike, and what you check for is you grab the connecting rod and you check for up and down movement. Even the slightest bit of movement means your crank bearing is worn out, and I usually recommend replacing that. Another big wear item, another big wear item is when you're doing a top end and somebody hasn't been on top of their maintenance, is your cylinder. A lot of times your cylinder can get scoring in it. And what scoring is you'll have these up and down lines that scratch the piston and make it so your compression doesn't have that good of a seal. So this cylinder is actually a brand new cylinder, and this is what they're supposed to look like. As you can see, there's this cross-hatching lines inside of it. And this cylinder is what your cylinder should look like. Another item I like to look at is check your transmission teeth. If you have rough shifting or your gears aren't working, a lot of the cases is because you either have a chipped tooth or your gears aren't moving properly. So the way you check that is just look over at the teeth, make sure there's nothing chipped off of them, make sure everything looks good. And then another important part to look at is just check over your cases. Make sure you don't have any cracks in them. Make sure there's no JB weld on them. Just kind of give it like a once over and make sure everything's all good.